Hey, it's Peanut, and I'm going to be showing you how to lash. So if I wanted to lash this board to these trees to make some sort of counter, the first thing I'm going to need to check is that my board lines up with these two trees. And it does. So this is a great spot for what I'm needing. Now, lashing is one of those things that it works better if you've got friends. And so right now I don't have any friends with me, so I've got to use this chair that's behind me to set this end on. So I can work on this end and lash it. Obviously, if I had two friends, it would be most ideal to have somebody hold it here and somebody hold it next to this tree, and I lash this end. But we're gonna make do with what we can, so I'm gonna use the chair on this side and I'm gonna lash to this side. I've got my board here and I'm gonna lash it to this tree. Now, if you'll remember, you're gonna start your project with a clove hitch. Before I do that, I'm gonna talk about different types of rope. So again, it's probably gonna be hard to see, but this one is a jute, but it's got a waxy finish to it. This can work good in some projects, and you can lash with it. Sometimes tightening things is a little bit more challenging than if you use a natural fiber jute or twine that you can find, and that's also in your camp boxes for the lashing project. But I would definitely suggest, if whatever you're building, if you're going to do ladders or climbing on things, you definitely want to use a natural fiber. This is going to help bind when you do frapping a little bit better than this. So if you're going to have any sort of weight bearing on this item, I would definitely suggest a natural twine over the waxy kind. So how do you start any lashing project? With a clove hitch. Now, can I do that modified clove hitch technique here with the two loops? Well, I can't reach the top of this tree, so I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. So you're gonna start with your clove hitch. So I've made an X. My short string that's gonna stay here is on top. My long running end is gonna go back around and around and around the tree. My running end is then going to tuck under this part right here. And pull. Now I'm going to smush this back down. So again, it's tight. So I have my clove hitch tied to my tree. Now I place my board right here. So all I'm going to do is go over the board, around the tree, keeping it tight, across this cross beam, back around the tree, come up here, gonna go up, across this cross beam, go around the tree, and you're just following the same path that you've done the first time. You're gonna do this is called a square lash, about 4 times. Again, keeping it as tight as possible. Everything with lashing, you want it to be tight. Can't be too tight. So I'm on my last little pattern here. Now, instead of going back around the tree and keep following, I'm gonna come up. I'm not going around, I'm going right here. And right here, I'm gonna tighten. This is called frapping. And this is tightening your lash even more, okay? So, I'm gonna go in between the tree and the board and wrap it 3 times, or frap it. So, pull that. Again, as tight as possible. I'm gonna do this 3 times. I'm gonna come up, and I'm just going in between the tree and the board. And last one. and around. Now, what knot do you think I could end this project with? Well, first off, I've got all this extra twine. You always want to usually start with a big bundle of twine because you never know the size of your tree that you might have to tie it to, so you might need more or less rope. So it's good to have that handy dandy pocket knife. So again, nobody's around me, no one's in my safety circle, keeping my string tight. I'm gonna pull out my knife blade here. And I can even use this board to cut my string. Okay, again, I'm gonna close it and put it away so it doesn't get it. So I've frapped it, I cut my string off, and now what knot am I gonna end this project with? A square knot, that's right. So one last time, I'm gonna pull this as hard as I can to make sure this frapping is as tight as it can be. And I'm gonna grab the end from my clove hitch and the end here that I frapped with. And I'm gonna do right over left and under and pull. Left over right and under and pull. If you want, you can cut those ends more, or you can just leave them dangle. And that is a square lash. So here's a square lash, just zooming in a little bit so you can see where I did the original pattern of the lash back around the tree and up. And you can see where I frapped. And it goes across in between the tree and the board. And this is tightening this original lash. So you can see how it's bent in this, where before it was kind of in this pattern. Tying it really tight has tightened that even more, allowing this board to be extra secure. So now, this is a square lash for this piece of this side of the board. Now, if I had some more friends in my troop, they would have already been working on that one and have it done. Or I can go do it now. There's the square lash for you.